Good morning, everyone. My name is Pawar, and I'm thrilled to be here and present to you today for the DECA/Knowledge Matters Digital Presentation Skills Challenge. My topic is about uncovering hidden gems, using data to build a winning franchise. In today's competitive landscape, data plays a crucial role in driving success, and franchisees are no exception. I'm excited to explore how data can be harnessed to empower you to build a thriving sports franchise business. So a little bit about me. I'm currently a senior at the Woodlands High School, where I've been a part of DECA for 2 years. And this year, my team and I participated in round 2 of the DECA KMI Virtual Business Challenge on the sports and entertainment track. We placed 11th in our region out of a staggering 108 teams. And this achievement wouldn't have been possible without the countless hours spent navigating the complex simulation, strategically experimenting, and ultimately discovering optimal profit-generating strategies for a virtual franchise. My future lies in the hands of UT Austin, where I'm going to major in SDS and minor in business. I'm very passionate about finding an intersection of data and analytics with industries such as sports, medicine, and finance, which I can translate into a professional career. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Moneyball. So let's get into it. Moneyball is the coined term for the philosophy of using data-driven strategic approach to building a competitive sports team that focuses on finding and exploiting undervalued players through advanced statistics to gain an advantage over teams with larger budgets. Now, understanding Moneyball might be a bit complicated, so I'm going to split it into 4 sections. What the problem was, then the solution, the core principle, and finally how it works. So the problem is that in competitive fields like sports, big budget giants often dominate, and smaller teams find it struggle to compete unless they find an edge. So Moneyball brings a solution and argues that traditional methods of scouting players, such as relying on subjective assessments like height and speed, are ineffective. The core principle of Moneyball focuses on undervalued players identified through advanced statistics. These players might not be superstars, but they excel in ways that directly contribute to winning. And here's how it works. So first you identify. Moneyball uses metrics like on-base percentage in baseball or specific success rates in other sports to find players who perform well in areas that traditional scouting might miss. Next, you acquire. These players are often cheaper than superstars because they're overlooked by other teams. Finally, assemble your team. Build a team with a strong statistical profile, focusing on complementary strengths that maximize overall performance. You may have seen this movie Moneyball, but I know for sure that you recognize this handsome man right here. The Moneyball approach was used very successfully by the Oakland Athletics during their 2002 season. Their manager, Billy Jean, had to work with a very low budget, but he overcame this challenge and built a winning baseball team based on analysis of player statistics instead of just using traditional scouting methods. He wasn't playing baseball anymore, he was playing Moneyball. And it proved to be very triumphant as the Athletics won 102 games that season and set the record for the most consecutive wins in American League history. But now is the part that you've all been waiting for. Can we use the Moneyball philosophy in the virtual business simulation? Indeed, we can. First of all, a huge thank you to the team at Knowledge Matters for developing the sports and entertainment virtual simulation. It truly provided an incredible opportunity to immerse myself in the dynamic world of this business. I mean, honestly, at first, I had no idea how to operate a franchise or any business-related operation. But through this engaging experience, I gained valuable skills in areas like strategic marketing, financial planning, and resource management. The simulation truly brought the complexities of running a successful sports and entertainment organization to life, offering invaluable insights that I wouldn't have acquired through conventional methods. I highly recommend this program to anyone seeking a captivating and educational journey into the professional world. So, since my team and I participated in the Virtual Business Challenge, I was given the role of coming up with objectives of our franchise. So, of course, the goal of the franchise was to maximize profit. However, we had a low budget to work with, So we had to make sure that we built a high-performing team, but only spend minimal on salaries. Next, when you're running a franchise, you want to consistently win games as you will develop a stronger fan base, thus increasing match attendees and sales of concessions. And there's an important quote that I want to share with you on the next slide in just a minute. The culmination of all of these things should, in theory, lead to high profits because we are maximizing attendees and having lower player salaries and operational costs. So this is the quote that I was talking about, and this is from the movie Moneyball that inspired me to be able to sign players that have high-performing statistics rather than just famous players and big-name shots that had crazy high salaries. So one of the menu selections in the VBS is the player management screen, where you are given the option to sign and release players for your team. In that screen, you are given 2 statistics or metrics for each position in the football team. For example, the quarterback has the metric of pass completion percentage and interceptions thrown. Now, for the quarterback, you want a high PCT and a low INT. But for other positions, it is, of course, different since they also have different metrics. And you may notice that in the column next to the player name is the salary that you will have to pay in order to sign that player to the team. So it gives an easy way to quantifiably choose which player is most aligned to use for the Moneyball strategy. This is me loading into a new simulation and signing players. So the original team that I was given had very expensive players, and I noticed that these players were not winning me games. So I released these expensive players and instead signed players that I knew would perform well based on their metrics. These players also had lower salaries, so I started winning more games and effectively increased profit margins. It proved to be very successful for the franchise, as the scoreboard wasn't the only place data resonated. Take a look at this victory against the Lightning, where I maximized ticket sales and concession sales, resulting in huge profits for my franchise. And who doesn't like more money, am I right? But you may be wondering, how is Moneyball being used in today's sports world? Well, let's get into that. Riyad Mahrez is a soccer player who is a perfect illustration of data's transformative power. He was a mere blip on traditional scouting radars because he played in the 2nd division of France for a team called Le Havre, which was a team that was very unknown. However, his potential shone brightly in the analytical spotlight. So Leicester City played Moneyball and signed him up for only £450,000. Then they developed him into a world-class player who scored 48 goals and provided 38 assists for them. And also, he led them to a record-breaking season where they won the 2016 Premier League against almost impossible odds. I mean, that's just crazy. Eventually, they sold him to Manchester City a few years later for record-breaking £60 million. Which, if my math is correct, equates to a staggering 59.9 million profit for the Leicester City franchise. And Mars is just one of the many hidden gems unveiled by Moneyball's meticulous approach. And this same Moneyball philosophy is implemented by many teams around Europe, such as Brentford FC and the 6-time European champions, Liverpool FC. To wrap things up, let's talk about the future of player evaluation. So currently, the traditional method of player evaluation is relying on subjective factors like physical attributes, scouting reports, etc., etc. This approach often misses hidden potential and limits player value. So now the industry will make way for advanced analytics. So by using data-driven insights, objective assessment, and advanced tools, this method unlocks hidden potential and optimizes player selection and development. Next up, we have evolving metrics. We move beyond basic statistics by creating in-depth profiles that capture individual strengths, weaknesses, and playing tendencies. And since artificial intelligence is just everywhere that we look these days, machine learning actually now allows us to predict a player's future performance and injury risk with greater accuracy. And using advanced video and data analysis, we can go beyond the physical attributes to analyzing crucial intangible skills like leadership and tactical awareness, which are very important for any team. Lastly, data and statistics are easily accessible now more than ever before. So these data tools and technologies level the playing field, allowing smaller clubs and even fans to participate in the player evaluation and talent identification process. Finally, it's important for franchisees to stay competitive in the ever-changing sports ecosystem, where continuous adaptation and strategic use of data are crucial. Moneyball isn't just about winning games. It's about rewriting the playbook of success. It's about harnessing the power of information to build a more informed, more strategic, and ultimately more triumphant franchise. Thank you so much for listening and giving me this amazing opportunity. And I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to Knowledge Matters and eDynamic Learning for creating these exceptional simulations and challenges. These simulations have allowed us to acquire invaluable knowledge and develop critical skills that will undoubtedly benefit us in our future careers. For me, it has truly been inspirational because through this simulation, I've developed a passion for pursuing business in college and potentially starting my own venture about leveraging data analytics for various industries. I really appreciate both of your time, and I really hope you enjoyed my presentation.